All right, let's talk about one of the absolute cornerstones of modern horror. We're going to sink our teeth into a book that took an ancient evil and gave it a brand new, and honestly, a terrifyingly familiar home. We are talking about Stephen King's vampire classic, Salem's Lot. You know, the dark heart of this entire novel beats around one simple, chilling question. I want you to forget Transylvania. Forget those crumbling, remote castles. What if the monster, what if that ancient evil moved in right down the street from you? What if he bought that creepy old house that everyone in town tells stories about? That's the terrifying idea King just unleashed on the world. So, how did he make it so darn scary? Well, he basically took the classic Dracula myth, stripped away all that gothic romance, and dropped it right into the soil of small-town America. And the result? It was something way more potent and way more frightening than anything that had come before. So picture this. It's 1975. Stephen King is writing this massive wave of success from his first book, Carrie. So for his next act, what does he do? He decides to take a swing at one of the biggest, most iconic figures in all of horror. The result was Salem's Lot, the novel that would absolutely cement his place as a master of the genre. And man, the impact was immediate. It wasn't just another scary story. Critics, readers, everybody hailed it as a masterpiece, calling it one of King's best and most terrifying novels. This wasn't just another book in the genre. It was a total reinvention of it for a whole new generation. But here's the real genius of it. King knew the true horror wasn't just the vampire itself. No, it was what the vampire does to a community. The whole story is like watching a slow-motion car crash. You see the bonds of trust, of friendship, of family just rot from the inside out as this evil spreads from one house to the next. Think about it. Bram Stoker's Dracula. That was about this foreign, exotic evil invading the huge, modern city of London. King just flips that whole script. He grounds the supernatural in the most mundane, everyday stuff. The horror of Salem's Lot hits so hard because it's set in a place we all recognize. A quiet little town where everybody knows everybody, or at least they think they do. Now, a shadow was falling over the town of Jerusalem's Lot long before any monster actually showed up. The stage for this whole tragedy, it was set years and years ago, with just a few key pieces already in place. So let's go there. Welcome to Jerusalem's Lot, Maine, or, as the locals call it, Salem's Lot. And just like so many of King's towns, it's isolated, and boy, does it have its secrets. At the very heart of it, looming over everything, is the Marston House. This place has its own dark history, and it's basically a magnet for the evil that's about to come to town. So the town's quiet life gets totally shattered by two different arrivals. First, a writer, Ben Mears, comes back to town. He's trying to deal with his own childhood trauma, all connected to that creepy Marston house. And then, at the exact same time, two mysterious strangers show up to open an antique shop. Their names are Kurt Barlow and Richard Straker. And wouldn't you know it, they've just bought the Marston house. And these arrivals, they basically set up a collision course for the three people who will become the town's last and only hope. You've got Ben Mears, the writer who's haunted by his past. You've got Mark Petrie, a kid who is so obsessed with horror movies that he literally knows more about monsters than any adult. And then there's Father Callahan, the local priest, whose faith is about to be tested in the most brutal way you can possibly imagine. You see, Ben Mears thinks he came to town to find answers about his own past, his own ghosts. But as we're reading along, we're asking a much, much more terrifying question. What ancient, horrible evil just moved in? This is where it all goes wrong. This is where the infection really takes hold, and the town itself begins to bleed, one person at a time. The horror isn't just in that old house on the hill anymore. Oh no, now it's knocking on every single door. And the whole downfall starts quietly. People disappear. Then they come back, but they're different. The evil really announces itself with a young boy named Danny Glick after he's turned. That scene of him floating outside his friend Mark's bedroom window, it is one of the single most terrifying scenes in all of horror. It shows you exactly how this plague spreads. Not from strangers, but from the people you know and you love. So once the truth becomes impossible to ignore, this small band of heroes has to fight back. And think about the steps here. First, they have to face the absolutely insane realization that vampires are real. Then, this totally unlikely team, a writer, a kid, and a priest, they have to band together. And finally, they've got to prepare for the ultimate fight, taking it directly to the source, the master vampire himself, Kurt Barlow. And if you want to know just how high the stakes are, you just have to look at the devastating encounter between Father Callahan and Barlow. Callahan's faith, his crucifix, that's supposed to be his ultimate weapon. But Barlow's evil is so pure, so powerful, it actually shatters the priest's faith. It turns that holy symbol into a weapon against him. It's just a terrifying statement on what happens when good meets true evil. And the losses here are deeply, deeply personal. It's not abstract. Ben Mears actually finds love with a local woman, Susan Norton. She's his symbol of hope, of a new life, but she gets captured and turned into a monster, forcing Ben into the horrifying position of having to confront the woman he loves, now as a creature of the night. It just proves nobody is safe. So why? After all these years, why is Salem's Lot so much more than just a scary story? Well, its legacy, why it sticks with us, comes down to its incredibly powerful themes and its crucial connections inside Stephen King's huge interconnected universe. The horror really resonates because it's built on these powerful, universal ideas. You've got the complete breakdown of a community. You've got the power of the past to literally haunt the present. You've got the rot of small-town secrets coming to light. And of course, the ultimate test of faith when it's slammed up against absolute evil. And of course, for all you King fans, you know that Salem's Lot is a massive cornerstone of his world. There's the prequel story, Jerusalem's Lot, which you can find in his collection Night Shift, and it tells you all about the town's dark history. But even more importantly, Father Callahan's story does not end here. He comes back as a major character in King's epic series, The Dark Tower, his whole life forever changed by what happened to him in that house. In the end, Salem's Lot leaves every single one of us with this really chilling, lingering question. King took the vampire out of the faraway castle and put him right next door, forcing us all to wonder, how well do you really know your neighbors? And what dark secrets might be buried just under the surface of your own town? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.